Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Vixen Voice. Today, we are talking all things wellness. Tuesday, you might have heard the episode with Aletheia Ida and I, where we're talking about wellness in your workspace. Well, today, we are expanding that idea of wellness throughout your entire home. So, we have an array of experts with us today. We have Aletheia Ida, who again you heard from earlier this week. She is the owner of Aletheia Ida Design and Architecture. And we have Lyndsi Weise, who is a social selling leader. She's been doing this for 13 years, and we were teasing her about being young because she thinks that's a long time. But I'm teasing because 13 years in any business is a long time, right? The average business doesn't make it past 2 to 4 years. So I love it. And finally, last but not least, we have my good friend Jamie Duggan, who's a holistic wellness coach. She is the owner of Empowered Health. And so everyone's coming to you today with their own area of expertise about how we can increase wellness around your home. I just want to start and say, it's super fun because everyone on here is a good friend of mine. I talk to them a lot. We live all over. We are coming to you from all four U.S. time zones today. So Alethea is joining us from New York, Lyndsi in Arizona, Jamie in California, and me from Little Tennessee. So this is the joy of what I do. And I think all of the women will agree. In today's world, the beauty is we get to have friends all over the place. So I can't wait to dive in today. If you know me, this is a topic that I am very passionate about, and we have not talked about enough on the Vixen Voice outside of Jamie coaching me on the Vixen Voice, which, by the way, if you didn't catch that episode, you want to watch me squirm as I'm getting coached. So check it out. So we're going to dig in today. Oh, and by the way, it's working. We'll talk about the benefits today, but let's dive in. So Aletheia, you and I earlier this week, I thought it was really cool. You were so organized in your tips. You had 5 ways that high performing women, could optimize their home office. So can you reshare those tips with us? Because I really liked how you broke it down.
Sure. Yeah. First is just establishing the basics. So give yourself a home workspace or a home office if you have the space for it, but actually set up a desk, set up a chair, set up a designated space for you and your work on it. Second is the ergonomics, so having appropriate furnishings, having different elements that will allow for different movement and kinesthetics of the body, so that's the physical health aspect. The third tip is for the physiological benefits of environmental aspects, so daylight quality, noise quality, thermal qualities. And then the fourth is for the aesthetics of your workspace, which connects to, April, as you like to say, our energetics. I kind of associate it with the psychology of the workday. So depending upon whether you're anxious or you get fatigued easily, there's different strategies for the aesthetics. And then fifth is the rituals. What are the healthy rituals that you can set up for yourself throughout the workday, and how do you integrate design elements that encourage those rituals?
I love that. Thank you so much. And speaking of rituals, they're so important to everything we do. I looked over, so I keep a candle burning all day on my desk, a prayer candle. And the reason is, usually I'm busy and I don't notice it, but the flame will catch my eye. And that's my time that I give some gratitude and thanks. And so it keeps me in a state of gratitude all day long, right? It's just that little flicker and reminder. So I love that. So Jamie and Lyndsi, I'm curious, do you have any little hacks like that you do for any part of your wellness to kind of remind you and keep you in the loop?
I do you
Oh,
want to
Lyndsi,
Go,
go
no, go
first.
first,
Go
Lyndsi.
first.
So mine's gonna be different, just a little different. My
I like
biggest
it.
thing, and I will tell you, I'm from Chicago. So I'm used to cold, snow, who knows what's going on over there right now. I know some days they have these nice warm days, but the majority of that city is a cold place. It's windy, it's a lot. And one thing that has always helped me from a wellness perspective is sunshine. And so I moved to Arizona in 2014, which was so cool. And I'm so happy to be here. And we built a pool in our backyard, which was a big deal for me to have water. I would love to be by the beach, but my husband was like, I draw the line going all the way to California. So I was like, okay, Arizona, fair enough. So we have a pool, and I have this space in front of my pool that I literally will sit outside and just let the sun do its, do its thing, bring me some great vitamin D, and like that's my thing.
I love it. That's so funny that you share that, because if you follow Lyndsi on social, which I highly recommend, she's great at helping you optimize your Facebook group and your Facebook. So follow her on Facebook, but she's always posting throughout the day, and I see you at your pool like all the time. So now I have context to it. So thank you for sharing that. I love it. Awesome. And Jamie, how about you?
This is something that I'm going to have to work on. I love your candle thing, but I will say this, that I am working in my kitchen, but I have my designated space and I'm looking out into my backyard, into the sunshine and into the flowers. And so having that natural light and having the openness, there are other places in my home that I could put a desk, but I really, really wanted to be able to see out to help with my creativity, to help with my sense of well-being, and to remind me, like, it's sunny right now, I'm going to go on a walk. I'm going to take a moment. So that is something that I do throughout the day, is just put on my shoes, go walk around the neighborhood, take 10, 15 minutes
Love it.
to break, especially after a session of like deep work and doing things, just to reset.
I love it. So, Aletheia, how about you? I know you shared tips, but what's one thing that you personally do, or a reminder you have throughout the day?
Yeah, I think similar to Jamie, my workspace is oriented towards my back deck. And it's a rural property at the foothills of the forest and a pond. And there's a lot of like natural wildlife that comes through. So I love to take breaks on the deck. And it is just encouraging to see. It's not always great weather here in the mountains of upstate New York, but that's similar to Jamie, like these indicators of the sun peeking through the clouds. Like, yeah, it's time to step out and take in the fresh air, take a break. Yeah, I love that.
Awesome. So I hope as you're listening, you're getting some ideas. If you have something that reminds you all day what to do, or a positive habit, it doesn't necessarily have to be that you're setting an alarm on your phone and then doing it, but it's just kind of part of your daily life, like this friendly reminder to do things, so that it keeps you on track, keeps you psychologically, ready to go. And a friendly reminder that we are now on YouTube. So if you want, join us on YouTube, and we would love to hear in the comments, what are some things you do? What are your rituals? If you're in my Facebook group, The Abundant Business Women, you'll see that I always talk about the ripple effect, right? Our company, my team and I want to impact 1 million women's lives. Obviously, I'm not going to coach 1 million women, right? But here today, Aletheia, Lyndsi, Jamie, and I, we're reaching a large audience of women. And so for me, that's still making the impact. So same thing, you can join in that ripple effect. You can be part of the powerful impact by sharing your story. It's really that simple. When you share, other women learn and grow. So we'd love to have you do that. And if you're not part of the Abundant Business Women, join us on Facebook. So Lyndsi, on that note, I'm going to turn it over to you, because I have to thank Lyndsi for me having a Facebook page, because she is the social selling queen, as she will tell you. And I run my Facebook group myself and love it just because, she was like, hey, just go have fun, let people see you. And so I love the podcast because we all just get to be who we are. And that's another place that I just get to be. And I love it. And Jamie, you have a Facebook group as well, right?
I do. Yes. It's
Awesome.
the same. It's my Empowered Health. So you can check us out there.
Oh, this is so funny. So Aletheia posted this week on Instagram, hey, asking a little, what should my Facebook group be? And I was like, oh, it should be 3 words and searchable. By the way, that comes from Lyndsi Weise. So she was like, thank you very much, April.
I'm inclined to reach out to Lyndsi from that April.
Good.
Lyndsi, I actually was born in Illinois and lived in Oak Park, Chicago when I was very young. But I also lived in Arizona, and I love Arizona for the weather. I need the sun, But it's interesting to hear your story and learn of that. But yes, Facebook group. Forthcoming.
I love it.
Should be launching next week.
I love that. 3 words and searchable. I might have to switch my Facebook group to my book title because it's drama-free health, and I feel like that fits into so many things.
Mm-hmm. So you want to think about people are searching, social media, most of them, people are searching for something specific. And if we're just putting a name that we think is great, they're never going to search that. So think about, what are they searching? If gut health is the specific piece of it, people are going to go in the search button and type in gut health for women over 40 or hormone health for women over 40. And the groups will pop up. So that's why you want it to be searchable.
Yes, I love that.
Mm-hmm. Love it. So you're getting free Facebook group tips today too. Awesome. Well, Lyndsi, we'll turn the mic over to you. So first of all, since we're all promoting our Facebook groups thanks to you, let's have you promote your Facebook group. And then tell us a little bit about how you're involved in the wellness industry and what tips you have for us today.
Yeah. So first of all, I am at Successful Business Women. That is my group. Feel free to search that up and join it. That is a very business focused group. So what I'll say to that is I am in the business space, but I'm also in the health space. So I'm in the hormone health space now. And so I actually put a really long name to it now that I'm coaching myself through this.
That's why we all need coaches.
But I also have a holistic hormone harmony group because I really like that. I thought it was a really fun name. And I think in that space, people are just kind of learning about that, which is a big part of my story and why I'm in a new space. But what I'll tell you is those 2 groups are separated, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with running them separate because people join groups for different reasons. There are people that are going to come and want me to help them run their Facebook group community, to teach them how to effectively do it, who don't care about hormone health, although maybe they should, but they don't. And so if I start putting this all in one community, they're going to be like, okay, lady, I'm out. This content is all over the place. So that's one thing that I want to say. But the way that this all came about is I've been out here for 13 years, and basically I have had health challenges forever, it feels like. And I came from the corporate background, and I remember being okay, I just need somebody to help me figure this health thing out. So I hired a personal trainer. I was paying him $150 a week to work out and kind of help me figure out what to eat. And he introduced me to the idea of working out at home while I was not with him, and it all made sense. And so that's how I got really involved in my first business, and I wanted the accountability. I wanted to be surrounded by that, so I always stayed on track with my health. And so here I got involved in workouts at home and superfood shakes and things like that, and I built a really successful business because I built community through Facebook group. So that is like the summary of that story. And it built like, yeah, it was really, really successful. And then fast forward to today, about 6 months ago, I actually went and I spoke on the stage and I was sharing about sales strategy that I did. And I just felt different about things. And I knew like that I just felt a little defeated leaving that event. Like, how do I just things had changed. And we'll just leave it at that. There was a lot of changes that I was struggling to align with. And so I just left that thinking, I just got a great highlight. I got to speak. I got to meet Brendan Burchard. Like, I literally spoke right after he did. And I got to meet him, and it was such an amazing opportunity, and I'm super grateful for all of it because it helped me to get where I'm at. I was able to build this community. I was able to help so many people build businesses, and I was able to focus on my health. But there was still always something that was disconnected that I didn't realize. And, you know, a little of the backstory to the side of that personally is I went through infertility to have my twin boys. And I also have PCOS, which is an autoimmune issue. And it all kind of happened at once before the boys were born. The doctor was like, you're having a miscarriage, you have PCOS, and we're going to need to do fertility treatments. And it was like one phone call. And I was like, whoa, this is a lot. It was a lot. And so I stayed focused on my health, and I was like, what else should I be doing to increase this fertility thing? Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And he was like, you're great. Keep doing what you're doing. And it was like, but what is it? Like, what do I eat things different? Like, they just never gave me a guide. And so my kids are 11 now. So that was like 13 years ago, literally as I was starting the business, I started to just share that story. And that's how I really built that community out and brought in a lot of people who had similar stories because we attract what we talk about. And so that's what kind of drew me into today when I started coaching people in with their Facebook groups, and some of these students came in who were non-toxic social sellers. And I was like, what is this non-toxic? Like, I don't get this. This is too overwhelming. You want us to like clean out the house? And they slowly would share. I'm like, this is just too much. You guys have got to bring it in, calm it down, baby steps, teaching this to people because I don't get this. But once it like clicked, I met the owner of Hue and Grace, Sarah, and we had a phone call. And when she told her infertility story, so she went through an infertility journey, and her doctor told her she needed to be mindful of the products she was putting on her body. Like, she needed to be mindful of lotions and skincare and all of this stuff that I was like, ooh, nobody told me this. Yeah. And I'm over here with all these issues, and I've been focused on the movement and the workouts and the water and the nutrition, which I know is a part of that puzzle. And so it just blew my mind to think all these years I've been using whatever products in the house on my body, like it didn't even faze me. And I knew like this was a great space to transition and serve people because it's a space where so many people have no idea like how bad ingredients really are out there. There's nobody really educating, and if they are, it's a little overwhelming right now. At least that's been my experience. To just see these graphics of like swap all of this stuff, and it's like, wow, that's a lot. So I'm excited to also now be offering that type of those type of products and help people start to just swap things out little by little in the wellness space.
I love that. And Lyndsi, I'm going to hop in because Lyndsi and I were friends outside of this, and I was like, what the heck are you doing when she started doing this? And she told me, I'm like, oh, thank goodness, because I try to use very clean products, but one of my frustrations is a lot of the organic, quote unquote, brands have been bought out by the larger companies that I know love to load chemicals. I don't really trust their organic anymore. And I kind of, I mean, it's difficult with food too to get truly organic, right? And so I'm like, oh, great. I'm going down another rabbit hole where I have this ultimate outcome that I want that is unattainable, which is to try to use chemical-free products and healthy products for my body. And then I saw what Lyndsi was doing. And of course, I'm an extremist. So I was like, oh, I'm going to sign up and get the discount so I can get everything. So I replaced everything. And I literally went through a detox just like you do when you are on a diet, or I'm very familiar with spiritual detoxes through my work, right? But Lyndsi, I literally thought I was sick, and I had just gone to this event where everybody came away with COVID. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I finally got COVID, because knock on wood, I've never had COVID. And then I find out, no, I don't have COVID. I don't have the flu. I'm just detoxing, because even though I think I live so cleanly by swapping out my skincare, my supplements, and my home cleaning, I literally was detoxing, which makes sense because our skin is our largest organ, right? Yeah. So I remember I posted something like, oh, when you think you have the flu and you find out you're just detoxing. And people were like, how are you detoxing from products? We have just been, the truth has been hidden from us so much when it comes to food and products and wellness. And that's why I'm so excited that we're here talking about ways that we can add wellness to our home. And Lyndsi, I do love that, I'm extreme. I'm a quick start, so I want to do everything right now. But, I coach the same way. It's like, okay, you want to get over your money beliefs? Let's start here. And then it trickles bigger. I know Jamie had me start small when it came to fitness. So you're doing the right job coaching, and then you're going to have some crazy people like me that want to put themselves through detox for a week, and they're just going to switch everything, right? So anyway, right? I believe in ripping the Band-Aid off. Let's go. So cool. So thank you so much for sharing that. I love that. So, really a takeaway from what Lyndsi's sharing is be aware of what's in your home, right? What's in your toothpaste? What are you cleaning your home with? What are you putting on your skin? What's in your shower? All of these things really matter. And what drives me nuts is even when you think you're being good and taking a multivitamin, so many of them are crap. So many protein shakes and bars are crap. You really have to educate yourself. I know I'm speaking so articulate right now. I get fired up about this. But I mean, I remember when I was training for the Grand Canyon and I was gluten and dairy free. I'm like, okay, I got to find protein bars because, you have to have stuff to sustain you when you're working. And I would read all the protein bars. I mean, there's a whole freaking aisle at HEB in Houston, right? Which is if you're from Texas, you know what HEB is. And I'm reading them all and I'm like, 24 grams of carbs, 4 grams of protein, blah, blah. I'm like, these might as well be freaking candy bars, right? These aren't protein bars. So, there's just little ways we all learn because something happens in our lives. So if you've had that experience, just little by little start questioning what you're putting in your home, what you're putting in your body, and what you're putting on your children. I mean, think about that. And it's really tough in today's world. So just start educating yourself and be aware. So Lyndsi, if you had some guidelines on swapping out products, if someone wanted to look at something cleaner, where would you go first? Or do you think it depends on their lifestyle?
I would say the first thing that I actually did was I started with my skin. I actually put a reel up about this today because I was thinking about the overwhelm and I was thinking about our products and I was thinking about there is a lot to look at where sometimes you could be like, that's a lot. I don't even know where to begin. And I was like, where did I begin? And the truth is I began with the skin, which is your largest organ. And whatever you put on it goes into the body. And so the first thing I did was I started looking at Ulta products and okay, what's the clean skincares? And I worked my way from like this brand to this brand to this brand up until I did get introduced to the products we have now. But yeah, I started with skin. With that said, though, I do think it is questionable because there's also collagen, and you have so many collagens that are full of things that should not be in them, and they're gross, and like people are using them and don't realize. And so that was eye-opening to me too. So yeah, I mean, it just depends. Like if people are struggling with the hair, I think it just really comes down to where they want to start. But yeah, for me, it was definitely the skin.
So, by the way, I get Faith to come blow out my hair, and she also cuts and colors my hair for podcast days, so I have one less thing to worry about. And today she was like, "Your hair is getting so long so fast." I was like, "I know, it's the collagen, baby." So I know Jamie's a huge fan of collagen too. So Jamie, hop in here. I'd love for you to share your tips as a holistic wellness coach. And first of all, tell us a little bit about what you do with your clients, right? What exactly is a holistic wellness coach? And then let's dive into some practical tips.
All right. So, my story is, there's a little similarity with Lyndsi, as I also did social selling, and I was in the wellness, introduced to like more of the nutrition and the workouts and all of that. But I was as a personal trainer for like 10 years, and I really saw the gap between the exercise. Like Lyndsi was saying, I had a personal trainer come work me out, but there's all the things that happen beside the workout. And I think that sometimes there's a false sense of, well, I have the trainer, or I go to the gym, I do the thing, then I must be healthy. And the fact of the matter is that that's one piece of the puzzle. When we talk about wellness, I talk about sleep and hydration and stress management, your nutrition, your self-love, your compassion for others, and then also to touch just on what Lyndsi was saying, like having living consciously, living in a way that is making, the world better, that is making your environment better, because we just don't realize, a lot of people just don't know what they don't know. And, to also kind of piggyback on what Lyndsi is saying, it's like, the more you know, the less you know. The more you learn, like, oh my gosh, there's, wow. So I really wanted to bring holistic wellness and just creating that lifestyle, because I saw so much yo-yoing on dieting and exercising and doing the extreme, like you, my love to do. And that works for certain people, but for the majority of people, that doesn't work. They go all in, and it's like, yes, I'm going to do a million things. I'm going to make these massive changes. And they might stick with it for a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month or 2 months. And then they crash and they burn. And then they blame the plan. They blame the product. They blame the system. That's what kept me from, I couldn't get healthy. I couldn't lose the weight. I couldn't do that. That's not the problem. The problem is that we're not building the foundation. We're not getting to the root of the cause. We're not building the belief in ourselves. We are not transforming our lifestyle. We're trying to put something in to our old lifestyle and get different results. And that just doesn't work. And so I work with clients to help them redesign their life to be a healthy lifestyle from the inside out. So, from the mind, body, and spirit, they work together. What you put into your body is as important as what you put on your body, is as important as your sleep, your routine, your exercise, and all of those things put together. So, and I want to help it be my mission really is to simplify it. That's why I mentioned, like, I've got a book coming out this summer called Drama Free Health, and it is just that. It's on creating sustainable habits without the drama. Stop overthinking it. Stop making these big, massive shifts that you can't stick with, and just stick to the basics, build those up, and then you go from there.
So
that's kind of what I do in a nutshell. I work with mostly busy professional women to help them create these lifestyles so that once they embody it, it's who they are.
Yeah.
It's not a cycle.
Well, let's talk about the home. So let's start with your first tip for wellness in the home. And then Aletheia, I'm going to have you tag team her after that. We're going to wrap you back in.
So thinking about what I was going to share, I was like, what are the foundations? And it really all starts with our rest, because our rest and our sleep is a critical piece to a healthy life, to a healthy body. And we're kind of at a detriment in our country. We're at a deficit, in our sleep quality. And so setting up your bedroom for rest, and we could go into the whole night routine and getting to the rest, but for time's sake, having your bedroom, making sure that it's dark, like really, really dark. And the darker you have it, the more you'll realize there's still a lot of light, and so I even go so far as to using a sleep mask, and I travel with it. I've got tons of them because they just knock out the light, and it's so essential to having your room be dark for your sleep. And then having really good ventilation. So I personally love a fan or the window open, but it kind of plays also into, you need to have it be at a cooler temperature, because optimal sleeping temperature is 68 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Not my opinion, just facts. So when our room is too warm or too cool, we tend to not sleep as well, especially if it's too warm, which I know we're in the kind of winter, spring months. And even though Lyndsi and I may not be needing our heaters so much, you ladies might want your heater on. So making sure that you have a fan and some good ventilation. And then no electronics, computers. I know that we love our TVs, we love our phones, we love our everything in the bedroom, but the energy, the actual energy of the blue light and the electronics running, and they make noise, and that noise can be very disruptive to our sleep, and it doesn't promote rest. So that would be my number one tip, is to really set up your bedroom for sleep, because when your sleep is good, everything else is better.
So it's so funny because I don't bring electronics in my bedroom, but when I made this move, I keep a TV in the guest bedroom. And so the other day when Arnold was here hanging things for me, I was like, oh, let's just put that in my bedroom, because there was this wall for the TV. I have nothing else to go on. I haven't turned it on once because
Good.
I'm not used to having a TV in my bedroom, but I do know what you're talking about with the noise. So I probably need to unplug it until I figure out what I'm going to do. But I totally agree. My phone is always, people are like, where's your phone? I'm like, it could be in the bathroom right on the other side of the door, but it should not be in your bedroom, because it is still my alarm, which I'm trying to replace. So I did buy one of those things that lights up and simulates the sunrise, but I wake up before the sunrise, so I'm not sure. Hopefully that'll help. In that too. So we'll see.
For sure. And if your phone is, because I am guilty of my phone is in my bedroom. However, it's on Do Not Disturb, and I do not look at it when I'm in bed. I do not scroll. It may as well not be there. It is there for the alarm.
Yeah.
And I
don't like
not
mine in my bedroom.
Yeah. I mean, that's even better.
No, I know it's hard. Everybody's shocked. They're like, how do you do that? I'm like, it's right there. It's still my alarm. It's no big deal. I just want it out of sight, out of mind.
Well, and that's actually one of the things that I teach my clients is, if you have a hard time with the snooze button, move it.
Yes.
Move it. Make it hard. You're already up.
I love that. Awesome. So, Aletheia, what do you have to add for wellness tips around the house?
Yeah, just tying into the current discussion on the bedroom qualities. I love all of Jamie's recommendations. And it reminds me too, this question about the wake time. April, you mentioned the kind of daylight simulation clock. I have one of those, and it has the kind of bird sounds, and it really does help me. But fundamentally, if you have the opportunity in your house to start to think about the zoning of different rooms, you want to try to connect the pace of your day and the movement of your activities with the pace of the sun. And this ties into even ancient methodologies and spirituality of the energetics of spaces and how our body actually works. So having a bedroom that has eastern daylight, eastern windows, is ideal if possible, also because it gets too hot if you have western sun hitting it at the end of the day, right? So it kind of ties into that other aspect. And that's just one example, kind of connecting into Jamie's points. And then the other discussion with what Lyndsi was tapping into is, and you as well, April, with really understanding what is in our products. So if we think of just home decor and home furnishings or carpets and rugs, a lot of these also have heavily embedded toxins and chemicals. And I think at least the building industry, we can get into the building materials themselves as well. The building industry was probably one of the later industries to start to become more transparent, but they've done a really rapid job in accelerating that. And there's a whole lot of information out there that's accessible to the public. So one recommendation is look up the Living Building Challenge product declarations and the red list. So there's just a red list that says, these are the chemicals in certain materials that you might not want in your home. Because if, most people might think like, oh, I'm buying a little throw rug or something, right, to put put in my living room. And you might just look at the material visually and like, what is it? Is it kind of go with my decor, but not look at the chemistry of the material. But the other thing is, once we have good chemistry quality of our materials themselves, that actually has this ripple effect that April, that you really embody, but it's to the workforce that is actually making these materials, right? So there's this, being much more transparent, there is this kind of hidden health cost to the labor force and the kind of labor equity that has made a lot of the products that we have in our homes. And the health impacts, we don't see that, but it's invisible. But the health from those chemicals, like the carpet industry historically, is really problematic. And then on the environment too, right? The water runoff and all those things. So I think there's been a huge shift in the building industry and the interiors industry. So there's labels with almost all material products today, and we're trying to get more transparent. There's some things that aren't clear yet, like impacts on water in the environment, like that's starting to come up a little bit more as well. But the knowledge is building, and I think, yeah, I love, April, that you say we just need to make ourselves aware, becoming empowered to make the decisions that are informed.
Yeah, and Lyndsi's words are coming back to me as I'm hearing you, like, just start somewhere, right? It can be overwhelming. Look, I've been aware of this situation. It started with food for me in the early 2000s. So I've been on this track for 20 years and I still don't know everything, and things change so quickly. And, I thought I had home products that worked, and then a big company bought them out. And like, if I'm not paying attention and I don't know that this big company bought them out, I don't know that makeup changed, right? So it really is a losing battle to try to know everything. I think, Jamie, you said the more you know, the less you know, right? But where can I start? Like, what is something I use all the time? Like, for me, I drink water all day long. So I'm absolutely obsessed with how I can get the cleanest water in the best container that's not harming me, right? So maybe something else isn't so great, but if I tapped into my water and I've tapped into my skincare, at least, that's less toxins coming in and affecting us. And we really do, and if you're spiritual, in my spiritual practice, I bless everything I eat and drink. There's a purpose to prayer, right? That's why we say a prayer before we eat and drink. And so if you, what's that book on water? It's called Something of Water. It's a phenomenal book. And they did studies where if you speak the word love to a molecule of water, it forms this really big, beautiful crystal. And if you like speak a negative word, it gets jumbled. So really little things like blessing your water, putting good intent into your water, just like people talk to their plants, right? Like that's real. Think about the vibrations that we're putting into things. And sometimes we can shift the vibration of what we're doing through our intent and taking care of ourselves and showing up well. So you know, I love how Lyndsi starts small, and Jamie, to your point, and I'm checking out this red list now, Aletheia. I think you brought me a whole nother list of concerns, but I like that tip that it's somewhere that I can go check out.
Well,
right?
yeah, and it's especially important if you're expecting a baby and you're like redesigning your babies. So really young children and babies are much more susceptible to like if you're using new paints and new carpets, it can be really problematic on their endocrine system, or the elderly, or those who have autoimmune disorders or things like that. They're more susceptible.
Yeah, I love that. All right, ladies. So we have about 6 more minutes because I know you're all busy and you have things to do. So what are some of our other favorite tips? We talked about sleep. We talked about chemicals and products. What else should we be aware of when it comes to wellness in our home?
Well, I'll go.
Go for it.
So something that I have all over my house, and I'll start by saying this. I am not a gardener. I do not have a green thumb, but I have houseplants. I think I counted one day. I have like 15 houseplants, and these are like big, and they do really amazing things for our environment. They've been like proven to help reduce our stress, to improve our air quality, to improve our productivity, and they just give your home or office a more vibrant and lively place, right? Because they are alive. And so I will say this, that I love the houseplants, but my tip for you is to get they're like terracotta stakes that you put into the soil, and then any like skinny long neck bottles, so like wine bottles, or I mean, really, I guess I've used wine bottles for mine. You fill them up and you put them in, and the plant stays alive. I don't have to water it. I don't have to worry about it. It's the perfect amount of water all the time, slow drip system. That way I can leave and go away. I don't have to worry if I'm out of town. I don't need somebody to come in and take care of my plants. So that has really helped me. And I even have like a gigantic plant in my bathroom, like huge. And it brings me joy. Like the health benefits, the wellness benefits, but also just the happiness, which I guess is a wellness benefit also. So
I love that. I'm going to ask you to share with us a picture of your terracotta steak with the bottle so that we can share that, because I just lost half my herbs because I was traveling so long. I asked someone to water for me and they did not. And that was not fun. It actually makes me really sad.
or they water. I had this happen years ago where they overwater.
Yes,
and the
that
plant
happened
dies,
too.
and you're like, no, I worked so hard for that.
I know, they basically rot it out. Yes, that happened to me too. I was able to save it. It's my Christmas cactus, which I've had a very long time. It's bloomed in many homes with me, so I was happy to save that. So Lyndsi and Aletheia, any parting words for our audience? Anything else that you think is super important for everyone to hear?
I believe that if you're, even as we're learning, for me, it was something felt off. Something was off, and it was super annoying because I was like, okay, I'm doing the movement. We got the food. Like, why is there still something off? And as you guys are talking, what's really like bringing me to a new story that I need to tell is we did a full house renovation in 2022 from April to December, and we lived in it. And the more you're talking about the house and the construction pieces and the carpet and the paint, I'm like, oh, no wonder you felt what you felt. Like I was in like, I was in a different health space before that happened. And then when it was ended, I don't even know, I couldn't even look at I was looking in the mirror like, who are you? What happened to you? And so it's interesting to kind of hear you guys talking about this, because I'm like connecting the dots. But that's the thing is, if I'm like, imagine if I'm not aware of the toxic part of things, the chemicals that are coming up, all of this piece of it, which I was not. And I'm over here like, okay, I'm eating well, I'm moving well, I drink a lot of water. What is my problem? I think it's important that this tip is that you really be aware and start to research a little bit more. I mean, for me, it literally fell into my lap because I was coaching students who were very passionate about non-toxic products, and they were walking me through some of the stuff that, why is this important? I'm like, why do I need to wash my face at night? What does that matter? Tell me, like, come in and teach that kind of content so we know that's products we want and why it's important. And like, as they would tell me, I was like, oh, I should really do that. So it's like letting yourself really learn and expand beyond movement, food, and water, because there is more to it. It's still wild to me, like learning all this late.
I love it. So
Can I
this
just
is a little
piggyback
off
on that?
topic, but real quickly, you
Just
mentioned the face wash. Oh, go for it.
No, I was just going to piggyback really quick on Lyndsi's, that I always say, like, you cannot fix that which you don't know is broken. So the more that you can educate yourself, like, absolutely do that.
Yeah.
I love it. No, what I was going to hop in is I use the face wash from Hue and Grace. It is absolutely my favorite face wash I've ever had in my lifetime. So I love that it's chemical free and it's like amazing product. And it's like 5 products in one, because I travel all the time. So I am freaking loving that. It's super efficient. So I was just giggling when you're like, why do I need to wash my face with this? I'm like, I'm so excited when I get to wash my face. Like, I'm so happy to wash my face at the end of the day. So I love it. So, if you do your research, you can find good products that you like and enjoy. It doesn't have to be miserable, because I've had organic products like toothpaste that I was like, oh, this is so disgusting, right? And so just because the first one you try doesn't match for you, like, keep looking. It's definitely worth the search to find a match. And then Aletheia, I will have you wrap us up today.
Yeah, I was just going to kind of tap into what Lyndsi was mentioning about, if there is some kind of minor remodel or renovation in your house, it could be as simple as refinishing wood floors. Some people won't think about it. They're like, okay, during the sanding, I just need to leave for the day and come back and whatever. No, you need to be gone for a whole week. Like, there's air quality health issues. So there's in these times, as soon as you start to uproot any materials, and during the construction and renovation processes, that's when the biggest challenges occur. And yeah, I think it's tough. Like this information, like, I don't know all these details that Lyndsi is sharing about these products, and I've just been looking into DIY. Like, I just want to make it from scratch, like, mostly because of cost, but also because I thought, well, at least I know what's in these ingredients of my, what I'm washing my face with or what I'm washing my hair with, and kind of go organic in that route. But even then, like you say, April, these organic products that I buy at the grocery might not be, like, there could be some other, so it's I mean, we as individuals, we can do the best we do, but what I love about something like this panel, it just goes to show that the networks, the community is where we actually can, like, we can just up-level our knowledge so rapidly the more we're connected with others and sharing our stories.
Yeah, thank you for that, Aletheia. That's why community is so important. I mean, community is one of our top 3 endeavors at Vixen for this year, which is why I started the Facebook group, why we have panels here. I just think there's magic in community and in being surrounding yourself with people on the same journey you are or on a similar journey, right? And then also being open-minded to listening to what other people have to say. I mean, there may be some people listening going, no, 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 I don't want to know this, right? Sometimes ignorance is bliss, and that's fine too, but just opening your mind to listen, and then you could always say, you know what, it's not for me right now, right? So you just never know. I always joke, be careful if you ask me for help, because a family member of mine, I won't even say what type, reached out to me for help in a certain area, and I started helping her, and then she ghosted me, and I was just like, yep, you asked me for help, you're getting all of it. So sorry, but you came to me and asked me for help. And because the other night I was at a networking thing, and we were all looking at each other's Instagram, and I was like, oh, can I give you a little nudge to the girl next to me? And this other woman goes, oh my gosh, I love that you asked permission. I was like, I never give my opinion without permission, because I don't know. You just one, I don't want to waste my time. And two, if they're not open to receiving it, it doesn't do any good anyway. I just think too many people are going around giving unsolicited opinions. So be open, listen. I always like to listen to anyone because I feel like I'll learn, and then I can use my discernment to decide if that's right for me and my family or not. So anyway, thank you, ladies. This was super fun. I know we had some technological issues, but I think we're all going to be good on the other end. This was fun, and I will connect you all on Instagram. So again, if you loved our guest as much as I do, as I'm sure you do, check out our show notes. You'll get all their contact information, how to get in touch with them. We'll have links to different things we talked about on this episode. And if you don't want to go search for show notes, it's real simple. You just go to vixengathering.com and subscribe to the Vixen Voice. If you do that, we will deliver all these resources to your inbox every Tuesday and Thursday. And again, if it's not a topic you're interested in, you can simply hit delete. So subscribe to the Vixen Voice so you don't miss out on any of these important resources. We will also list all our Facebook groups in there. Go check them out. If you don't like them, again, you can leave the group. But it is pretty fun. So that's a way you can engage with all of us directly on an ongoing basis. So again, I just think that aspect of community is so cool. So everyone, thank you so much. As I always say, the world needs more love. So taking care of your wellness is a way you can show love to yourself. Taking care of the wellness of your home is a way you can show love to your family. So this could be our great tip for spreading more love today. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.